In an interesting development, Indian pharma company Lupin has hired an ex-US FDA officer to head their compliance operations. The company informed shareholders a couple of weeks ago in an exchange notification that they have hired Diana Amador Toro as Senior Vice President of Global Compliance. Toro, who will be based in New Jersey and has nearly 4 decades of experience with the US FDA, will be responsible for leading Lupin's global compliance functions, including training, internal audits and investigations. This is not the first time that an Indian company has hired a former drug regulator. An example is Masood Motamed, a former US FDA investigator who was a director auditing and compliance at Cipla from 2017 to 2020, and Pratik Upadhyay, who joined Glenmark's compliance operations after 5 years with the US drug regulator. For Lupin, hiring Toro as their compliance head is viewed as a positive due to her extensive experience. Besides spending 38 years in the US Office of Regulatory Affairs, she has held 2 leadership positions and has been recognized with the US FDA's highest award, the Award of Merit. Many a times, these hires are already aware of Indian companies and their US-focused plants, point out experts, which is probably why Indian companies are keen on these hires. For example, Toro is the same compliance officer who signed off on the warning letter issued to Lupin's Somerset facility in June 2021. Upadhyay had inspected Glenmark's Pithampur plant amongst other plants in the country. Similarly, Motamed, who carried a reputation of a tough officer, was the one to sign off on many tough 483s, such as erstwhile Claris and now Baxter's injectable plant in Ahmedabad, which turned into a warning letter, to pointing out shredding of documents in Hetero's Telangana plant in December 2016. He also voiced his concerns of manufacturing of contaminated APIs of the blood pressure drug Valsartan generic in India and China for the US markets. Back to Toro. Toro's experience is expected to help Lupin turn around its patchy compliance record, say experts. Whilst the company managed to clear its Goa plant in December 2021 of the warning letter which was issued in 2017, it has multiple other plants under the scanner. This includes Pithampur Unit 2, Mandideep and Somerset plant, which all have warning letters, and Tarapur plant, which has an official action indicated status. But that is not always the case. Heads of companies say, yes, ex-US FDA hires add a layer of credibility to the company's compliance, but they are not a panacea. Eventually, improving compliance depends on multiple factors such as, say, continuity of the ex-officers in their roles long enough to make a difference, and eventually the overall culture of the organization. For example, both Masood and Upadhyay failed to prevent or solve issues such as Cipla's Goa facility, which was issued a warning letter in 2020, or Glenmark's Baddi facility that was issued a warning letter in 2019. Lastly, move to private pharma from the US Drug Office is quite a common practice, especially globally. And while the transition to pharma from the US Drug Office is entirely acceptable and legal, it has sometimes raised eyebrows and sometimes been frowned upon as well. For example, 9 out of 10 of the former US FDA commissioners have gone on to join private pharma. A prominent example was the former US FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb joining the Pfizer board in June 2019 after stepping down in April 2019.